Let's start. Unit 32. Number 1. Movies may be said to support the dominant culture and to serve as a means for its reproduction over time. But one may ask why audiences would find such movies enjoyable if all they do is give cultural directives and prescriptions for proper living. Most of us would likely grow tired of such didactic movies and would probably come to see them as propaganda, similar to the cultural artwork that was common in the Soviet Union and other autocratic societies. The simple answer to this question is that movies do more than present 2-hour civics lessons or editorials on responsible behavior. They also tell stories that, in the end, we find satisfying. The bad guys are usually punished, the romantic couple almost always find each other despite the obstacles and difficulties they encounter on the path to true love, and the way we wish the world to be is how, in the movies, it more often than not winds up being. No doubt it is this utopian aspect of movies that accounts for why we enjoy them so much. Unit 32. Number 2. A little boy sees and hears birds with delight. Then the good father comes along and feels he should share the experience and help his son develop. He says that's a jay, and this is a sparrow. The moment the little boy is concerned with which is a jay and which is a sparrow, he can no longer see the birds or hear them sing. He has to see and hear them the way the father wants him to. Father has good reasons on his side, since few people can go through life listening to the birds sing, and the sooner the boy starts his education the better. Maybe he will be an ornithologist when he grows up. A few people, however, can still see and hear in the old way. But most of the members of the human race have lost the capacity to be painters, poets, or musicians, and are not left the option of seeing and hearing directly even if they can afford to, they must get it second hand. Unit 32 Exercises. Number 01. Have you ever pushed relentlessly to look for an important item like a pencil or a key you misplaced when you knew it was best to forget about it and wait for it to show up? You do this because it's tough to stop. The moment you try, you become uneasy and nervous. You feel somehow not right without the lost item, as if the whole meaning of your life were in the balance. One method of confronting and conquering this fear is called response prevention. The basic principle is simple and obvious: you refuse to give in to the perfectionistic habit, and allow yourself to become flooded with fear and discomfort. Stubbornly stick it out and do not give in no matter how upset you become. Hang in there and allow your upset to reach its maximum. After a period of time the compulsion will begin to diminish until it disappears completely. Unit 32. Number 02. During the 17th century, more and more cities were building large houses of confinement. 17. The perfect example was the General Hospital of Paris, which, despite its name, wasn't a medical establishment. Instead, it functioned as an administrative institution that housed the mendicant as well as the mad. In other words, the General Hospital became a catch-all facility for the city's most inconvenient citizens, beggars, the unemployed, and the insane. As an institution, the General Hospital was so effective in cleaning up the Paris streets that, in 1676, the King of France signed an edict that called for the creation of similar establishments in every city. 1676. Later, confinement houses emerged throughout Europe, largely as police-based institutions. In addition to its function as a social cure-all, confinement came with its own economic benefits. In times of reduced wages and high unemployment, confinement houses put problematic residents to work, thereby turning these idle populations into sources of cheap labor. The end. Good job.